I'm here with Dylan Ferro from Taxi.
Hi. Hi.
So you guys have had great international success playing with crowds of over 50,000. How's that felt for you?
Well, for us, fantastic, and today even more, because even if we're not 50,000, because obviously there's only 29,000 people in GIB, it's still one of the best shows to do because you're playing the local crowd. No?
And with such musical giants as Simple Minds and Alan Parsons, do you get nervous still when you go on stage, or?
Well, just a little bit. No, I get nervous that everything is okay, but for the band itself. But for the people, no. It's where we feel most comfortable. We train all year round, so the most comfortable place to be in is on actually the stage. So for us, it's a second nature thing. But we do get a little bit of nerves, but it's more adrenaline rush than anything.
And the Latin Grammy nominations, has that been like the peak? Would you say is like the dream come true?
Well, for us, probably yes. Especially for the nomination it was. There's 54 categories which you get nominated for in the Latin Grammy. But 12 of them only are the major ones. And we were on one of the 12 major ones because we were voted Best Pop Album or Hispanic Pop Album, no? Yeah. For a band. And for us that was major. No? I mean, all the bands that were there in the same category as us are all popular bands. So that says a lot.
So what do you think of the Noise now being the up-and-coming next Gibraltarian band? Do you see yourself in, like when you started back in the day?
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I think that the youngsters are very enthusiastic about what they do. They're a great band. For them it's not about musicianship. I think it's more about chemistry, and that's what makes a good band. Yeah. That is everything.
Yeah, they say a band is a marriage.
Claro. You might be the best musicians, but it doesn't work between them, no?
Yeah.
Just like the relationship, just like you say. But they've got a lot of chemistry. They are young. They're willing. They're wanting to get somewhere with the band, and they are marvelous. I mean, just see them playing their own the covers and then their own songs, and they just do it so great. And then they've got a super brilliant frontman, Jesse.
Yeah.
I would love to admire. I think he's a much better musician and much better singer than I was with his age. So for me, it says a lot to be able to have them here today playing with us. No?
Fantastic. And what's next for Taxi then? Are you like turning a new road, trying new things? Are you having a new album out?
Well, for Taxi, quite simply, what we're trying to do is we're trying to launch a new album by the beginning of next year. So we are working on new material, and basically we never stop working on new material. That's why we're musicians. But we are looking forward to launching a new album. We still don't know the concept behind it. But at the same time, we're also touring with the old album, and I think that's going to continue until the end of the year.
Fantastic. So we've got something to look forward to there.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
Okay, where's Simona?
Yes,
I am. Yes.
Is there any band in particular that you are following?
The Noise, of course.
Yeah, it seems to be the popular one, hasn't it?
Especially.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Enjoy the gig.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah? Are you looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, it's going to be excellent.
Yeah. Any band in particular that you've always followed, or is it just a night out?
Just now that we're here and they're there, we'll go for it.
Brilliant. Well, enjoy the gig. ¿Sí? Estamos preguntando preguntas de si seguía alguno de los grupos o a quién venía a escuchar en particular. A Alan Parsons, que siempre ha sido un fan suyo. Sí.
De jovencito, desde que tenía 18 años.
Oh, no me digas. Entonces está bastante entusiasmado. Sí. ¿Y Simple Minds también? ¿Lo habéis escuchado? ¿No?
He oído, pero que no es como Alan Parsons.
Y Taxi y The Noise es un grupo muy nuevo, son niños bastante jóvenes de aquí, local. Con que entonces va a ser algo nuevo para ustedes también.
Sí, van a ser nuevos.
Fantástico. Que tengan un...
First of all, welcome to Gibraltar.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. What is the reason you chose Gibraltar as part of the tour?
Well, it's a popular misconception that artists choose where they play. it's down to promoters and agents and managers talking to each other. But it is remarkable that it's taken this long for me to come to Gibraltar. I've never been here. So.
What do you think about it so far?
Oh, excellent. I mean, nice view. Feels like London, and which is where I grew up. So yeah,
When are you hitting the beaches?
I hope so. If, we've got a day off after the show tomorrow. So
Fantastic. I hope
spend some time looking over.
And what can people expect tonight then from your show?
Well, it's a hits show. I mean, that's what people want to hear. They would ask for their money back if we didn't play Eye in the Sky, I think.
Yes, that's one of the tunes my mum did mention.
Ah, right. Okay.
I mean, do you often switch up the kind of music you play depending on the audience, or do you have a rehearsed standard set you like to go with?
It's pretty standard. I mean, sometimes if it's a festival, you kind of go for slightly more up-tempo stuff. But I feel we're playing a fairly typical set tonight.
Brilliant. Now, I know you have a hell of an illustrious career when you were younger, and as well as now, just carried on growing. Were you always drawn to performing, or was your preference more on the technical side of the industry?
Well, I started in the business as a studio guy, and it was sort of an accident that the Alan Parsons project happened, because I was really more comfortable with being an engineer and producer. And then this songwriter by the name of Eric Wilson came along and said, "You can make an album with material we write together, and put your name on it." So that's what we did.
I know that you work with Pink Floyd and Dark Side of the Moon, that is awesome. As well as on the couple of Beatles albums, and Paul McCartney and the Hollies. So with regards to that kind of music that you're used to, what do you think about the local acts that you're playing with? Have you heard anything from them yet, or?
Local acts like Simple Minds, you mean? I've yet to hear the opening band, but I hear great things about them, so looking forward to it.
Awesome. Now, with regards to the ASSR that you released, the Art and Science of Sound Recording, can you tell us the idea behind that in terms of, is it a way of coming full circle back to your roots, or? Kind of.
It was an effort to give something back. I've been doing this long enough to have learned quite a lot about how records should and should not be made. So, yeah, and then with the help of a lot of other producers, engineers, and artists, which I've met, during the making of the program and over the years in my career, they play a big part in the program as well.
So it's kind of like passing on all your skills.
Yeah, it's a general view. It's a general view of by other people as well. I mean, there's nothing more boring than just one person talking to a camera saying, "Here's how you do this, here's how you do that." That's not what we do. So it's broken up with interviews, with graphics, with musical examples and so on.
It's narrated by David Fonton as well, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was quite a coup. Yeah. We're very pleased about that. He was very gracious about it. And incredibly professional. He did all the narration for 10 hours of video in about 4 hours.
I took a look at all the highlights, and I tell you, it looked really, really interesting.
Oh, right,
really interesting. Now, I'd like to turn this interview a little bit on its head, if you don't mind. Is there anything you would like to say to your fans that you've never been asked before in an interview?
Somebody asked me that the other day, and I completely froze up and couldn't think of anything. I mean, the only thing that I haven't talked about is my personal life, and that's because it's personal.
Yeah, nobody's business.
But, no, I've talked about just about everything in my professional career that I ever could. I've been very lucky, I've been very fortunate to survive in this business for so long. I mean, I've been doing it, I think it's 35 years now I've been doing it, so I've been incredibly fortunate to stick at it all this time.
Yeah, awesome. Well, in that case, I mean, what would you like your legacy to be? What would you like to be remembered as? The guy who's worked on all those albums, like massive.
Yeah, I mean, I look upon myself as the luckiest guy on earth who happened to be in the right place in the right time to work with both the Beatles and Pink Floyd. So yeah, very, very lucky. But I think my production work is what I'd like to be remembered for. If that happens to be in the context of the Alan Parsons project, then so be it. But I did lots of other acts as well, like John Miles from Newcastle, and Pilot, who were from Scotland, Al Stewart, who was sort of from folk rock circles, and
Quite diversity.
yeah, quite a diverse bunch. But I still feel that in the context of what I did with the Alan Parsons project, that I was really still just a producer, just a guy that made records in a certain way. That's what I'd like to be remembered for.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much.